Good morning. My name is Ben from Home Care Scheduler. In this video, I want to show you the new features with Home Care Scheduler and give a bit of an explanation about what it is and how it might help you. So Home Care Scheduler is an add-on application. It works with clinic-based software like Cliniko, Nookal, Splose. It connects via API to these software and syncs appointment across and allows some extra functionality that doesn't exist natively in these apps. Now, why do you need it? Cliniko, those type of apps are very good for clinic appointments. However, when you have multiple practitioners working across multiple geographies, seeing clients all at the same time, scheduling gets very complicated. You need to calculate the time distance between two appointments to make sure that there's not inefficiencies. You need to calculate travel distances to make sure that you're correctly paying people the right amount of payroll. And you need to do this in an efficient way to reduce your overheads and increase the amount of revenue via new appointments. What we're doing is we're connecting to these good clinic-based apps and we're giving them home care functionality so that it can help you efficiently run your business. Now, practitioners don't typically see our app. They will interface natively with the clinic-based app. We mostly work with one or two users in your business, depending on your size, admin staff who are involved in scheduling. Practitioners typically don't see our app. I will show you how it works. So we've logged into Home Care Scheduler, and you can see inside of Cliniko, we've created a number of appointments and we've estimated the space in between. But these are just a guess because I haven't got time to add all of these addresses in one by one. And in fact, within most of these apps, it's quite hard to actually find the address. You've got to dig many levels deep just to find simple details as to like where the appointment is to occur. So what we do is the first step is you go into settings, integration, you add the API key into Home Care Scheduler from Cliniko, and then you go to imports, you hit new import, and you can pull the appointments in from Cliniko into Home Care Scheduler. Remember, this app is only for scheduling staff. It's not done by practitioners, typically. If you have a clinic that works beside a home care business, like maybe you only work a few days in home care, or you also have a clinic inside of the same software, you filter out those appointments, typically using location or appointment types, and we don't need you to import the clinic-based appointments, only the home care appointments, only things that have travel. So whether you're traveling to a pool, a gym, a person's home, doesn't really matter. But you can import, you can select the appointments that you need and you hit import. And what that does is that pulls all the appointments from Cliniko into Home Care Scheduler. And now you'll start to see the benefits of this app. So instead of looking at a screen, which is effectively this, we display your appointments on the map. We calculate the distance and time for travel in between appointments, and it starts to make it a little bit more home care friendly. And you can see like the shape of these appointments, and you can start to get a bit of an idea as to what is the benefit here. We also have, I'll show you some more things in this that we can do with route optimization, but I'll show you some more functions before we get into that. The next thing that's pretty cool is we have a search function. So if you were to, let's say that we had a, okay, So let's say you had a new client that came into your business and you wanted to find who was the nearby practitioners. We also have a tool for that. So you can search the client's address here. And what it does is it lists all of your practitioners that you have. So we've only got one in this test account, but if you have 10 different practitioners, you can see all of them there. It calculates the distance to each of the practitioners, and it also gives you a list of nearby appointments. So if you are trying to most efficiently allocate this new client that's in New Farm, at this rate, you would think it's pretty close to Janet, so that would be a good start. It's also very close to this appointment, so you would think, okay, so when we're seeing Rowan on the 25th of July, that might be a good time to allocate that referral, which will in time reduce your travel, reduce your overheads, and start to make things more efficient. A very cool feature. We also have a travel report. So one of the complicated things of a home care business is you typically want to reduce travel. In all situations, you want to reduce travel. Practitioners don't really like driving. Trust me, I'm one of them. They don't really like driving. Getting it down will help them. But also, in most cases, you have to pay a per kilometre allowance for that travel. If they're using their vehicle in Australia, it's 95 cents per kilometre. In other parts of the world, it's a similar value. In this report, you can select a date range. It can be future or past. You hit create. If you have multiple practitioners, it'll list the amount of travel for all of those practitioners in that date range. This is a great report if you're needing to pay that per kilometre allowance, because you'll effectively just times the distance by that dollar amount. It also is a really cool feature, because what you can do is if you set a future date and you sort the distances from highest to lowest, this is a great way to help get down your total travel, because if you sort it from the highest at the top, this is the most opportunity to reduce these travel. So you might think that this appointment with Fabian on the 24th of July is one to look at. This is the highest amount of travel. This might be appropriate to see Fabian or the appointment after, depending on which one is the problem. You can find that by viewing it in the calendar, and this might be a good opportunity for you to reschedule that appointment to a more appropriate date or time, and then that will start to get your travel down considerably. Now, back to the appointments pages. One thing that I think is really cool is when you're using these clinic-based systems, they don't have route optimization built into it natively. So you end up having to guess. In some cases, receptionists are manually calculating the amount of time between each appointment, but that's very time consuming. What we can do here is we can create a route, and we can choose, do we want to start at the first appointment location, which will be Alan, or do we want to start it at the practitioner location, which is a different address? And then you hit optimize and save. Now what that's done is that's reordered the appointments, and it has reordered them to minimize the amount of travel. It's also adjusted the arrival time, so it's taken away all that little dead space throughout the day. So that significantly reduces the amount of time it's taking to do all these appointments, because we know that you're starting at this time, at this address, you're spending 45 minutes there, and then you have a 16-minute travel to the next appointment, and so on. And this is how we're starting to, reduce your business travel and start to increase the amount of profit in your business. Now, if you wanted to add a lunch break into this day, you can also create a second route. So maybe the first 4 appointments, which are finishing 1, 2, 3, 4 at around 12:15. If you created a second route, which is just down the bottom here below some of the screen recording prompts, but you create a second route and you put these next 3 appointments into the second route and you start it at the commencement of the second half of your day. And then you've effectively optimized the day in 2 separate routes in the most efficient way possible. This can save you considerable amounts of travel expenses. It can save you considerable amounts of wages, and it can help you get more appointments into the day. Once you've done with all your changes here, you can then export it back into Cliniko. So I will only do the today's export to make it a bit faster. And remember, this is what it used to look like here. And then I just got to move that out of the way, and then you hit start export. It's currently in progress. Now it's complete. And you can see that these arrival times are all adjusted, and it's much more neat, perfectly calculated travel times, significant reduction. And this is why your practitioners don't need to use our app, because they only need to see this screen. All the smarts of the scheduling are done within this app by a business owner, admin staff member, whoever it is, and then the changes are reflected in here as required. Now, one of the other problems you run into as a home care business is these systems make it a little bit difficult to find fundamentals like where is the address. So another cool thing that we're doing is we have a daily email, and this is a screenshot of it. But what it does is it's in the middle of the night, just before the upcoming day, we send out an email, and it has all of the appointments, their arrival time, it has the client, and it has a clickable link for an address. So your practitioners, what they could do is they could wake up in the morning, they'll have an email of everywhere they've got to go. They can click this link and use whatever route optimization service they want. They don't need internet on the road. All these things are quite useful for a home visit practitioner, and we make it very simple within the home care scheduler app. So you import the appointments at the morning before the appointment. It generates an email with all this data. It's accurate as of the time that it's sent. If there are changes, you'll have to update them. But then this is quite a useful way to make it easier for the practitioner while they're going about the day. And finally, another thing that is really useful is the middle appointment cancellation problem. So as you know, in home care, if you've got lots of appointments throughout a day and they're all ordered, typically what happens is the middle one cancels. So, for example, if James was to cancel or Jared was to cancel, it can be quite a problem, because you've either got 2 choices. You're either leaving that dead space in the day and then you're just eating the wages without the sales. Or with this app, it's quite simple. You can just remove the appointment. It's all recalculated. Other option is, if Jared needs to be seen earlier in the day, you can just drag it it all recalculates. It's really good for those situations in which, like, you've got a lot of appointments. It's very time consuming to sit there and recalculate all the orders, and yeah, this system does it all for you. So, in summary, Home Care Scheduler is an add-on. It works with popular existing clinic-based systems to add home care functionality. It's used predominantly by admin staff, but makes the practitioner's day easier, but they don't typically interact with this app. We charge on a per appointment basis, and if this is interesting for you, and if you think that this could help your business, please feel free to reach out to us at homecarescheduler.com, and we can set you up with an account and get you moving. But I think as a home care practitioner, this is a very useful app. It allows you to leverage some really good existing software, reliable software, and it gives you additional functions within that app. Thank you.